Hey everybody, it's Larry back with you. And today we're going to be taking a look at two of the hottest phones on the market today. If not the hottest phones, definitely the two hottest Android phones on the market. And that's the HTC One M8 and the Samsung Galaxy S5. So right after this, we'll get into it. Alright guys, so these are the two hottest phones on the market right now. Now they are both running Android as an operating system, but their custom skins and their build quality make them two very different phones. So you have the HTC One, which everybody knows you're looking at a metal quality, high quality build. It's 90% aluminum, and the Samsung S5 has went, well, I shouldn't say went, it's sticking with its plastic, faux chrome sort of look it's been developing the last few years with a few minor changes, which I think are good. So we'll get into that. But the HTC One, just from looking at the actual build quality or the feel in the hand and the look of it, if you just see them both sitting side by side, just the initial impression, I think anybody that looks at it is going to be will gravitate towards the HTC One M8. But now looking at the HTC One, which I'll quit calling it the M8 now just to say the HTC One. On the side, you can see you have the SIM card slot, and then at the top you have your IR blaster / power button. On the side, you have what looks like a SIM card slot, but it's actually the SD card slot and the volume rocker. And then at the bottom, you have your 3.5mm headphone jack and your micro USB charging and syncing port. Now, the front is where I think the magic happens, and that is with the dual front-facing boom sound speakers. You also have a 5-megapixel camera shooter for your selfies, and then your HTC logo down there on the chin, as I've heard it called. Now, the front-facing 5-megapixel camera is more megapixels than this, which is the 4 ultra-pixel dual camera, and you have two sensors, one that just takes depth information to give you some editing options after the picture is taken, which we'll get into when we look at the cameras later on. You also have a dual color flash LED, which really gives you rich and more true colors when you use the flash, and compared to the S5 that just has a standard white LED flash. Now, taking a look at the S5, you have a very familiar look if you've had an S3, an S4, a Note 2, a Note 3, just with some subtle changes. You have your home button on the front, your two capacitive buttons flanked on each side. It's no longer a menu, it is a recent apps running, but you can long hold it for menus, so it's pretty much the same buttons. You have your chrome band around the sides. On the right side here, you have the volume rocker. The bottom, you have an ugly USB port cover that helps with the waterproofing, which is IP67 certified phone, which is water and dust resistance. On the other side here, you have your power button, which is a big plus over the HTC One because it's mounted at the top or located at the top, and it's just very odd position for your hands. And the back has this new dimpled feel, which it's a lot better than it is with the S4, where you had that slimy feel on the back. So this is, although I don't like the look, it is definitely feels better in the hand. And then you have the 16 megapixel shooter in the back with the white LED and the heart rate monitor next to that. The front, again, is your normal Samsung layout with your sensors at the top and your front-facing camera. And then the home button also has the built-in fingerprint scanner this time, which we'll look at later on. So here you can see, we'll take a look at the screens here. And just Both screens are fantastic. Samsung has the 5.1 1080 screen. HTC has the 5-inch 1080 screen. Samsung's is a lot more vibrant and pops, and has been called the best screen on any phone ever by some companies out there. I definitely see a more of a bright picture or quality with the Samsung device over the HTC One. Both of them are winners, though. You can't go wrong with either one. But here you can see you have TouchWiz on the right and Sense 6 on the left with the HTC. And Sense 6, I have not had any hiccups, whereas on TouchWiz, I still get lag and the occasional lockup, which on these type of high-end devices, you should not be seeing that anymore. Especially when you're running KitKat, which isn't taking much up at all. So that just tells you it is the OEM skin that is really bogging things down. And again, you look at the build quality, HTC knocks it out of the park. I mean, just knocks it out of the park. People say it's a little slippery in the hand. I really haven't come across that, but it's beautiful. You can't go wrong with that aluminum build. And here again, we're looking at, you have your My Magazine app when you slide to the left part of your home screen, which you have the Blink feed and HTC One. And then here you have your Task Manager and your Open Apps, where you can see what apps are running. You can end them all, and you can also end them all right within that open apps that are running. You're not going to see any real hiccups here, but with real use, more than just a quick video, there is quite a few times where I've seen some hiccups in TouchWiz where a lot of lag. And quite honestly, I pay full price for my phones, unless that falls within a contract year. So I paid $600 at Verizon for each one of these phones, and the HTC One M8, it's just buttery smooth. And that's a big problem for me is with TouchWiz. If I'm having lag on a $700 phone, or pretty much any phone nowadays, I don't think you should be having lag. So here we're going to take a look at the camera where the S5 just shines. It knocks it out of the park. It makes HTC One look like a little kid in them just starting off with their camera applications. You have all your normal stuff that you get with Samsung. Here's your dual camera where you see the front facing and a little screen, and then while you take a picture with the regular camera. Now they didn't add everything in. There's a download button on the right where you can download all the extra features that you're used to seeing, like sound and shot and things like that. They just did not include it, which I think is a good thing. That way you're not getting overbogged with all those extras. Here's your settings. You have slow motion, fast motion, smooth, normal, and then here you have your 4K ultra high definition recording that you can turn on. It has live view HDR for taking video. You can video in HDR and also take pictures and actually see it live without having to see it after the fact, which is a beautiful bonus. And then the shutter speed, the focusing on this is ridiculously fast. I mean, they claim it's the fastest out there. Between the HTC One and the S5, quite honestly, if it's faster, I don't really see the difference. But it's fast. And hands down, Samsung wins with this camera. HTC can't hold a candle to it. Here we're going to take a look at what I would consider sort of a gimmick. And Samsung's known for putting gimmicks in their phones, like their AirView and a lot of those things. So here's the heart rate monitor. Now the problem with this heart rate monitor that I see, place your finger on the sensor and then read the screen here. Try to keep still and quiet. Now if you're using a heart rate monitor, I believe you're probably going to be doing it while you're exercising or running. So to check your heart rate and you need to stop, stand still and be quiet is a bit of a stumble if you're going to add that feature into the phone. So again, I think the heart rate monitor is just a gimmick, much like this is just, I don't want to say a gimmick, but it is definitely not on par with the 5S. Apple did it right with their home button. I I think the S5, Samsung should have maybe changed their home button if they really wanted to do this so you weren't sliding down. The benefit of the 5S when you do it is you can press your home button to turn on your screen and it'll read your fingerprint like that. So this one you have to press a button to turn on the screen and then swipe your finger. It's just too many processes to get it unlocked. You need one quick process. You know, maybe you could the fingerprint scanner is always on, so you could swipe it and then it just turns on without actually having to press the home button. And here we take a look at the M8, the HTC One's camera process. And like I said, it's great also, but the 4 ultra pixels, whatever, it's 4 megapixels, just is not. It can't hold a candle to the S5. I mean, I'm not even going to say any more about that. But here we'll get into some of the features. Here's the U focus, which you get from that dual camera, where you can focus on the back or focus on the subject in the front, and it'll blur out everything else. Sometimes it works good, sometimes it doesn't. Again, this is what I would say sort of a gimmicky. HTC getting into Samsung territory was sort of a gimmicky thing, and quite a few things on here are pretty gimmicky because you can only use them on your phone. They don't translate into, you can't post to Facebook some of the effects, which we'll get into in a second when I show you like seasons and the 3D dimension. Foregrounder you can, that one's pretty cool. You can change the way things look, add cartoon, zoom blurs, and things like that. Seasons looks cool, but again, this doesn't translate. You can't share this. So you have all these cool effects, and then the picture sort of pans around and moves around, but this doesn't translate to post to Facebook or Instagram or Google Plus or anything. Same thing with the 3D effect. You move it around, it looks like the picture's moving a little bit, but again, you can't do anything with that. Here you have what's pretty much photosphere. Anybody that's used a Nexus product or the Google camera, pretty much you're going to get a 360 degree picture. You just go through that process. Again, you have the same thing like the S5. You have the dual camera, which I think is pretty cool. If your kid's doing something and you want to send a picture to the grandparents, they can see your reaction as well as the kids, what they're doing. But the front-facing camera, actually, I'm not a big selfie guy, but the front-facing camera is amazing. It's a very wide angle, and it's amazing. And then you press your selfie button, and then when you hit it, it gives you a nice 3, 2, 1 countdown, so you're nice and ready. You can get prepped up. See, there I go. I smile at 1. Bam, beautiful selfie. Send it in. I don't think I've ever posted a selfie unless I'm with my wife or something. We take a picture together. And then also you have the Zoe, which I think will be available on other devices because they put it in the Google Play Store later. But there you can take burst shots with 20 shots. You can take some recordings and put them together in little videos. So it's really, really nice. But overall, I hope this video has given you guys just some few tips and little things that I've seen and what my experience with them. Anything you need to know or you're curious about, leave me a comment down below and I'll make sure I answer it for you, or maybe I'll address it in the full review for each of these phones. But I wanted to give you a comparison right now in case you're out there shopping around and you're on the fence on which one to buy. So make sure you subscribe down below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys did. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.